What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Zoe and I'm here today to talk about all of the books that I read in the month of May. It was not that great. Unfortunately, I did not read a lot in the month of May. I was so busy. We traveled back home. My sister came and visited me here. So it had been just an absolutely crazy month. And to top it off, I was also in a huge reading slump for like the first 2 weeks. I just did not want to really read. I wanted to do other things, and so I did. I only read 4 books in the month of May, which was kind of a bummer. This probably won't be that long of a wrap up, but I still did want to talk about all 4 books that I read. So let's go ahead and jump in to the books that I read in the month of May. So these first 2 books that I read, I actually did a reading vlog. I vlogged my reading experience reading both of these books. I really only wanted to vlog my experience about one of them because one of them a lot of people really like. I'll go ahead and link my reading vlog below if you want to check out my thoughts in real time. But the first book that I did finish in the month of May was The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. This is an adult mystery thriller where we follow our main character, Emma Davis. She is an adult living in New York City as a brooding, moody artist. We quickly come to find out that Emma spent one of her childhood summers at this sleepaway camp where all 3 of her bunkmates that she was rooming with in her cabin at the sleepaway camp ended up missing one night. The girls were never found and presumed to be dead, and that's really haunted Emma for her whole life. Emma decides that the only way to really stop thinking about these girls and what happened is to go back to the summer camp as an adult, take a job as an art instructor for the camp as it's newly reopened, and try to uncover the mystery of what happened to the girls. This story really unfolds from there. It did a really great job of unfolding flashbacks, doing, dual perspective timelines of when Emma was a kid and then flash forward to where she's at now. There were some really intriguing characters. Overall, I really did enjoy this. I think some things it did really well was the dual timelines. I really thought that there were just crumbs along the way of unfolding the mystery slowly but surely, so it made for like a really enjoyable and really well-paced story. I don't think Riley Sager's writing was my absolute favorite. There were definitely times I was reading and I forgot what I read, or I just kind of wasn't super into it. It definitely also could have been because of my reading slump, but I think that the writing just wasn't that intriguing, so it was hard to sometimes follow along and pay attention. I definitely had to go back and reread a couple pages sometimes because I would read it and then I would be like, wait, what did I just read? Like I said though, overall I thought this was really enjoyable. I gave this one 3.5 out of 5 stars. Wasn't really my favorite mystery thriller, but was definitely an enjoyable read. The next book that I read and that I vlogged in that reading vlog was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I loved it. I am sure if you have been around on BookTube for even a little while, you have heard of this book, but we follow our main character, Evelyn Hugo, as she is a starlit Hollywood movie star in the 1920s. We learn about her life, her 7 husbands, what it was like to be a mega celebrity during this time, and it was just so good. That's all I really want to say about it as far as the synopsis. We really learn who Evelyn Hugo was, but we learn the nitty-gritty details as she is telling her story to someone who is about to write her memoir. I thought that this was absolutely stunning. Like everybody else, again, like I said in the vlog, I couldn't believe it. I didn't expect to like it. I've read a lot of books that had hype and none of them had really lived up to the hype in my opinion. This one absolutely did. I can't recommend this book enough. I thought Evelyn Hugo was a complex, wonderful, tough to understand, strong, gritty person, and I absolutely loved it. I thought Taylor Jenkins Reid created this character that felt extremely real. I think with books, it's really easy to have characters be one way or another, kind of black and white sometimes, and that was just not the case. I mean, there were times that I absolutely loved Evelyn, and then there were other times that I wanted to shake her and say, what the freaking heck are you doing? So I just loved that she was such a complex character to read about. It was really refreshing. I am not a fan of historical fiction whatsoever, but I was very pleasantly surprised by this. Really, really moved. And yeah, this was just a stunning piece of work. If you have been putting off reading this because you don't believe the hype or you don't want to give it a try, but maybe you're intrigued, I just rip the band-aid off, go and read it. I think it's really, really good, and this is coming from someone who didn't believe it was worth the hype in the beginning. ending. So pleasantly surprised with this one. Easily the best book I read all month. I absolutely loved it. The next book I read was a manga. I picked it up really quick on my plane ride back home later in the month of May, and that was She and Her Cat. This is by Makoto Shinkai, and the art is by Tsubasa Yamaguchi. I hope I'm saying that right. Apologies if not. This was a really cute manga. It was not my favorite. It follows the story of a girl as she is an adult having this kind of very lonely, isolated life, and she has a cat. And the story is told from the cat's perspective, which I thought I would enjoy, but it was almost too artsy for me, a little too flowery. I thought it was gonna be kind of cute and adorable and just like give me all kinds of feels with the cat as far as like coming from like a cat's perspective, but it was almost like the cat was more human, if that even makes sense. The narration as the cat was speaking was almost kind of like, wait a second, is the cat in love with his owner? What's going on? He's like, I don't know, it just felt a little weird. It wasn't as cute as I thought it was gonna be. It was a little bit more like deep, or at least tried to be deep. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to. I really wanted to, but it just wasn't my favorite, unfortunately. I did love the fact that there was like a story about a cat and their owner, because I'm all about that, but just overall, I think I wanted something a little bit more adorable, and it was a little bit more deep than I was hoping. So for that reason, I did go ahead and give this one like 2 stars. The last book that I finished in the month of May, right at the end of the month of May, was The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Again, I'm sure a lot of you have either read this book or know what this book is about. This is like an adult fiction, fantasy, historical fiction. So this is set in the 1800s, so we're talking way back when, and it follows the story of a magical night circus and 2 people in particular that are involved with the circus. They are a man and a woman who were brought up as children to be participants in this unusual game slash trial sort of thing, and it's all very elusive. You don't really know what it is, but they're 2 powerful, magical people, and they kind of combine in this circus, and we follow the story of how they are trained up and how they create the circus and how they interact with the circus, and then you've got a lot of side characters in the circus and their relationship and how things unfold. That was probably a really bad description of this book, but that's about the best I can do because I didn't love my time in this book, and I'm sad about it. So let me start off by saying this. I think that I could love this book. I think I could really love this book. It has all of the elements of a book that I would absolutely adore. Magic themes, circuses. I love circus themed things. You've got romance and trials and kind of whimsical magic that almost doesn't even make sense, which I like. I like magic that doesn't have a lot of rules. So I really think that I could love this book. However, I think I made a mistake in listening to the audiobook. I have been listening to the audiobook for The Night Circus for like over a month. I started it back in April, and I have been forcing myself to listen to it. Now, I do definitely think that it's slow, and I do have an issue with slower paced books. They're really hard for me to get into, and then when something is slow and it's an audiobook, I think that makes it extra difficult. At the point I was at, I had like 2 hours left of it. I just wanted to get through it, and then like the last hour or so, I was like, whoa, this ending is amazing, and I love this, and why wasn't I present during the rest of the book? I definitely listened to it. I know the majority of what happened, but I just wasn't immersed in this world like I think I could be. So I am gonna go ahead and keep this, and I'm definitely going to pick it up and read it physically at some point because I really think I could love this. It definitely gave me feels at the end where I was like, oh my goodness, that's a great ending. So all that to say, I didn't love my time reading this or listening to it, unfortunately. I was going to give it a pretty bad rating up until the ending. I was really surprised by how much I enjoyed the ending, which inspired me to keep it and read it again at some other point. So I don't even think I'm going to go ahead and give it a star rating yet because I want to give it another fair shot, and then I'll come back and talk more about it. But I did read this. It was just a very weird experience. I think think this is officially the shortest wrap-up of all my wrap-ups ever, which is a little sad, but it's okay. I spent my month doing other things, and that's not a bad thing. I'm already into a few different books right now in the month of June that I'm really excited about, and I feel inspired to keep reading some more. So here are all the books I read in May. Not a whole lot. Still some pretty solid ones, so it wasn't a total bust, but I really hope to pick up more in June. Alright, you guys, well, those are all the books I read in May. I am looking forward to June very, very much so. Let me know if you have read any of these books, if you liked any of them. Evelyn, Hugo, The Night Circus, some manga, some mystery thriller. I would love to know your thoughts. Talk to me in the comments. Let's chat. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are, and I will talk to you soon in my next video. Bye!